This week's episode is brought to you by the 2017-2018 flu season. What was supposed to happen? We got a flu shot. Our body learns how to fight against the infection, so when the infection shows up, we kill it and move on with our lives. What happened to me and millions of other Americans is we apparently got the playbook from 3 years ago, so that when the team 40 miles away showed up, we got our asses kicked. Flu season 2017-2018. Oh god, I'm gonna vomit. Hey everybody, welcome to Nexus Ignite. I'm Atlas.
I'm Matt.
I'm Root Beer.
And that took a gargantuan effort for me not to cough while I was saying that because I have the flu. Yay!
Sucks to suck.
Yeah, definitely. God, laughing is like a fucking no-no for me.
I cut myself on a meat slicer, so that happened.
Oh man. A permanent
Yeah,
damage or?
No.
Oh,
It was just a little chunk.
A chunk.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I felt the bullet. I touched the blade, but I didn't feel anything at the moment. And I was like, oh god, I fucked up.
Usually chunk and injury are not something that mean like a small amount, you know.
It is a tiny chunk. It's mostly healed, but just stings randomly now.
Oh, I bet.
Like whenever it feels like it'll just sting, and I'm like, oh god.
Oh, is it
I'll
gonna
be at work and like, fuck.
Is it gonna be like the old man thing where you're like, oh, looks like a storm's a coming, my chunk is stinging.
Well, it's the absence of a chunk.
God. All right. So today there's two things I want to talk about. The first one, like every other Xerath dragon that's been revealed, we always talk about it before the set comes out. And what the fuck was Brucey Road smoking? With
Dude, the good shit.
Yeah.
The good shit.
Xerath Dragon of the End of the World Dust has been revealed.
What an appropriate name.
What, End of the World or Dust?
I mean, I don't know.
I mean,
You know what they say? In dust we trust.
yeah, exactly.
I don't know who said
Start
that,
just
but
does
the
everything.
Only Guilty Gear players say that, but you know what I mean.
Okay, so but
Shout out to Guilty Gear.
we should probably explain why we're all shitting our collective pants here. His skill is, so like every other Ultimate Stride, you have to pay the cost with a card that's the same card as your Vanguard, that you can use Grade 2 if you're in Legion, blah blah. Counterblast 2, when it's placed on Vanguard, you may pay the cost until the end of the turn. Your opponent's Vanguards and Rearguards lose their abilities. Their grades and power increase or decrease to 1. Not 1,000, 1. Choose one of your opponent's Vanguards and deal 1 damage.
Question. Are you
Yeah.
sure that you didn't forget that if your opponent's at 4 or less damage, deal 1 damage?
Oh, I didn't forget.
What? But why?
So, you can just win with this, like...
Yeah.
I like your opponent's at 5. Reveal dust for my G-Zone. Oh, you got it, dude.
Yeah.
Also
Yeah.
check top card. All right.
The reason I stopped playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Was I was sick of people showing me a thing and me having to go, okay, I'm done. Like, that's come back now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is really the first time it's happened, right? Where your opponent's just like, oh, I have this.
Yeah, look, there are other cards that can deal the 6 damage. Cards like
VMAX.
VMAX, and then that other Cosmic Hero that's on hit. But
Bro,
in
VMAX is kind of large.
what?
Yeah.
The restriction on VMAX is like much larger than the restriction on Dust.
Yes, VMAX.
That's the thing. I think that the ones that can deal 6 damage have some kind of way for you to get out of it.
Yeah, exactly. Like with VMAX, if you have G guards that can call stuff to the field,
Or Dismal.
or Dismal, yeah, like you can do that versus
Like,
this.
and then
And the
yeah,
one-
this card is just like
Falcon-
Counterblast 2. You have a 90% chance of winning the game.
yeah.
Like above that, but yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's a petition going around where
That's dumb.
Yeah, that is dumb.
wait, why? To have
I'm
a
pre-
petition?
Okay, first of all, petitions don't do shit.
Well, actually, do you remember that the Grand Blue card in the Rummy
Yeah.
Labyrinth set that was going to form like an unstoppable loop, and then there was a petition, and then they changed
Japan
the effects?
complained about it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not us. So Japan has to complain enough for it to matter. We don't
Okay.
matter.
But I don't know if Japan's complaining about this or not. This thing is like the other Xerath dragons have either been medium, decent, and this is like WTF, man. It's deleting basically.
Yeah,
And
and then
So they lose the ability to use G guards. They have PGs, and that's it, basically.
and zeros, I guess, but
yeah, PGs and zeros.
And basically, every time they guard, they have to like minus a card because they're 1 power.
yeah.
So in order to get back up to wherever they are,
Well, actually, minus 2 cards because everything's at increments of 1 or 6 instead of 5.
Yeah, that's true.
oh yeah, that's weird as shit.
Yeah, because Vanguards are normally 11k now, so you try to make magic numbers in increments of 1 and 6 instead of 5.
Let's think
So,
about it right now.
being at 1 power, if you guard with 5k, that's 5,001. That's still 1k short of 6k, so you need 5k more to actually guard it.
I like how they made it 1 just to kind of differentiate it from deleting, but not really.
Yeah.
It's the same as 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't hit 1,000 power things, but on the other side, it doesn't actually matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. If this like stays as the effect, what's gonna happen? Just
Time Leap might come back.
yeah, like regular time leap.
Dark Sound decks will be
Yeah, Dark
very
Zone decks
good.
would just be ridiculous.
Yeah.
And
And the
You
worst
don't-
part is, like, Dark Zone clans have one of the easier times getting a copy of their Vanguard.
Yeah. So Spike Brothers, you have Mecha Trainer.
well, I think this card is the worst in spikes, but yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, Mecha Trainer can search Acrobat Verity, which means you can search your
Well,
Vanguard.
the problem is that a lot of Spike Brothers cards are very Vanguard. Like you're reliant very heavily on the Vanguard abilities.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, you need some way to get charging, which you can do on Dust, but it takes a lot of work.
You
Well,
got-
like Time Leap, ZTB, you don't really need Vanguard skills to do this shit.
Mhm.
yeah.
Dude, just
Yeah.
think, you're playing ZTBs and you have that fucking sheep stand. And you're just like going off,
Yeah.
and your opponent has 1 power because you're on Dust.
Mm-hmm.
I like how they gave this to Chrono in the show. I'm like, really? Come on. That's
Yeah, and then, like, Dark Irregulars, you have Enigmatic Assassin, so
yeah.
you're just like, attack, attack. Alright, now 20.
I mean,
20,
worst case,
20.
you just strike Demagogue first, like you get the combo off, put them to 5 probably, and then you're just like, I have Dust. You better heal right now.
God, does
So
that bring back painful memories? You know, I have game. I have dust. You know,
I have game.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have.
When I saw Dust, well, when I saw Dust first, I was like, oh, I don't know what the skill is because it's like a loose translation. Then I saw the card and I'm like, I'm glad I have like 1 foot out the door of this game.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I have an army. We
Yeah.
have a Hulk. We have dust.
It felt really worrisome, like that a card like this exists.
Yeah,
Or
Yeah.
presumably.
I don't know what happened. In like a 3-set span, we went from set 11 and 12 to 13 being to this. Like,
I thought 11 and 12 were like really fantastic sets.
Mm-hmm.
Like I thought the cards were like really well designed. Like the clans like were good without feeling ridiculous, minus some OTT shenanigans there for a little bit.
yeah.
But 13, I was kind of like, yeah. And this set, I just feel really.
Yeah.
I don't like the concept of ZRs. I think is a big problem.
Yeah.
Part of it.
And also, I also don't like what they started doing with GRs that have the Ziegenberg setup of a flip skill and then a GB3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also don't like that the GRs are starting to need entire playsets of them.
Yeah.
It's also started in GPT 13,
Mm-hmm.
and I
I don't know. It's just like,
Well,
we're
that's just-
ending the G era, let's just completely shit our pants.
Let's burn it all down to the ground. You know.
Yeah.
This seems like something you would give to Geese, not to Dust. You know.
Yeah, I don't know. But,
I
I don't even know what they're doing anymore.
Yeah, like, I'm not sure how they can go higher than this,
I'm not sure. Like,
other than just winning the game, but
Yeah.
they're not going to do that because Chrono has to beat it somehow.
yeah, exactly. If they put a damage cap on this, would this be like easier to bear? I guess.
Well, then it just kind of becomes a delete that restricts G guards.
I mean, that's
Well, I think that's
Still pretty
interesting, right?
big, but
I think this card is better than Drachma if it says 4 or less, and it
Yeah.
doesn't say 4 or less,
yeah.
and it's like so it's just absolutely ridiculous.
Mhm.
yeah.
Huh.
I don't know. This would just be a less gimmicky still vampire if it didn't deal a damage.
Yeah. I mean,
No, I think it should deal a damage. I just don't. I just think it should have the if your opponent's at 4 left.
Yeah, I think it should have the restriction on the damage. Being able to just counterblast 2 and win the game with no effort is kind of ridiculous.
But that's what a ZR should be. Pay $150, win random games.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah, and people were trying to compare it to all the other like 6 damage dealers too. But it's like a really poor comparison because you have outs to them.
Well, it's also a poor comparison because this has been like what 3 clans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
or 4 clans at the same time.
Yeah, 4 clans at the same time. 2, like one of them is the main character clan, so it's going to be always at least pretty decent. Another one is Dark Irregulars, which isn't very popular, but it does have the resources to take advantage of this in full.
Also, it's like a 0 counterblast deck, so you'll always have to be available.
Yeah, and then also, like, Pale Moon has been doing better with the new Hari recently, so they're, like, tier 2-ish, and then they can still make very large columns while you're at 1 power for 0 counterblasts.
Yeah, just shit out a board of, like, Princess, and then, like, anything else, and then you're good. Like...
And then Phantom Hari can also fish grade 3s out of the Soul, so you can get a copy of her Vanguard really easily.
Yes, you can.
I think Pale Moon can probably ultimate stride the most consistently right now with Hari.
I think Glenzin Vampire lets you. Oh no, not Glenzin. The Lujarius.
Yeah, but both of them you kind of have to soul charge the grade 3, so it's about the same, really.
I mean, it's the same in Pale Moon, but
there's more selective soul charging in Pale Moon though. So, and you can, you could actually choose.
Yeah. Well. With DI, I think you're just kind of mass soul charging and hoping you get a copy.
I think you're pretty likely. I think it's pretty similar likelihood that you hit it in like both decks.
Yeah, so like both of them have like fairly consistent times getting a copy of their Vanguard. Chronojet has Dran, but Dran will probably die before that point.
Because Overlords are a thing.
Yeah.
Man, I've been playing against my friends' Overlords, and I've considered just not even calling my starter out. Just like, it's gonna die. I might as well just like leave it in soul to have 1 extra soul for, tank mana shenanigans. Like, Mecha Trainer I can get out of the way in time, but like,
Yeah, like, a lot of... If you have a starter that can't go away before grade 3, you might as well just leave it in your soul.
It's not the worst idea.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Dust is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, and that's pretty much all we have to say about that. I think if you go to... I don't care if a petition doesn't do anything, sign it anyway. Change.org, change.org, and I think it's like Dust Petition or something like that. You'll find it pretty easily. If you type Vanguard, that's pretty much the only thing you're going to find. It's circulating around on the subreddit, and you'll find it eventually. Anyway, the other reason we're here today, at risk of me going into a coughing fit, is that we're talking about like what it's like for players who started after the G era and before the G era. So people who started GBT01 and after, or BT17 and before. And I feel like that can affect how people play and think and build decks in general. What do you guys think?
Alright, so I guess I'll start, since I started at this about the same time as Atlas. I've been playing this game for way too fucking long. A big change, a lot of it has been how you adapt to changes. Like, whenever you, like, if you just enter a game and, you just imagine its natural state, then the changes don't seem as extreme. Like, you can't, like, it's hard for somebody now to imagine a game without, like, like Legion running around, for instance, like, unless they've been playing for a really, really, really long time. Like, it's like, oh yeah, this is a thing that people do sometimes because they're bad. I mean, at this point. Or like G-Guards or Strides, like, once you're already, like, thrown into that, and, it's part of the game that you first learned, it's pretty easy to continue playing with that kind of stuff. But every single time there's been, like, a major rule change in Vanguard, the community has, like, flipped out. Like, when Legion was first announced, people were like, what the fuck is this? 2 things in your Vanguard circle? How does this card work? How does this card work? and then you're like waiting for Japan to like figure out how Cat Butler works with Legion. Yes, it was very well.
Or like the thing with when Drachma came out, people were like, I can ride Mitch Deleter Chaos and delete Drachma. I'm like, okay, but who's gonna do that realistically? You know?
I mean, people always come with like stupid ass like narrow shit that you would never actually do. But like people were threatening to quit the game over the Cat Butler thing. People were like, I'm just never gonna play Vanguard again.
I mean,
like, and the same thing happened with Stride. Like, what the fuck? We need an extra deck now. This is the reason I wanted to play this game. There's no extra deck left. So like every time there's some like huge change, people just want to leave the game.
I mean, a lot of people did leave the game for Stride.
Yeah. A lot
of people left for Legion and then came back for Stride.
That was me.
There's definitely a group of people that left the game for Legion. Also, we got a good hint of what was coming in Legion era in Japan, and it was very gross. So people didn't want to have any part of it. It was basically like a one deck format.
What you had like
the Thing Abyss deck.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And people were like, I don't want to have any part of this. So they just like, it was like, and like this looks like shit. These rules look like shit. I'm just gonna stop playing.
Yeah, and then a lot of the decks started to get kind of samey because the only way you win was have a restander or have a glory.
Mm-hmm. Also, games in Legion era took actual 5 ever.
Yeah, because
either games were very fast because somebody just died, or the games took actual forever because it was infinite shuffling.
Yeah, I was just like, alright, hang on, I need to like check through my drop zone to see what I want to put back, then I gotta shuffle, and then I gotta go find my Legion mate.
Why does Musketeers exist? That's what I ask myself.
Yeah.
Just time out the Musketeers.
And then they made Bluish Flames that did the same thing.
So stupid. Yeah. But yeah, so when I first started playing, I don't remember really why I started playing this. I just had friends that played this game, so I was like, sure.
Same here. That's how I got in.
Yeah.
And I played like shitty stuff for the longest time, and then I played like okay stuff. I don't think I ever really played like top stuff. I just kind of played like medium stuff up until the stuff I liked became good. Up until Eradicators, I think was like when I actually started playing actual better stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I thought Gauntlet Buster was cool as shit. That was only the only real Eradicator that I liked. So, and then like I don't know, I just like for me it's just kind of like here are the things we're given. We have to like figure it out, right?
Yeah.
But like I had a lot of fun in Limit Break era. Like despite kind of the obnoxiousness of break rides, like I thought Limit Break era was in general pretty fun. I thought the cards were cool, but they weren't like busted, right? They're just like kind of neat.
Obnoxious?
I thought break rides themselves were obnoxious because the entire early part of the game was like nobody calling anything, nobody riding anything.
Yeah.
Because like, well, I don't want to get my opponent to 4. You like call it back rows, you can throw crits on it if needed.
Yeah.
Like it was just really dumb shit. So I was just like, this is kind of stupid. But like once you got past that part of the game, I thought the games played out pretty nicely.
Yeah.
In Legion era, I just kind of felt like everyone was on some kind of combo deck. Like it was just kind of like it didn't really matter how long you sat around. It's just like, well, once I get all my stuff, you're dead. I played a lot of Spike Brothers in that time, so it was kind of like hit me to 4, I dare you. So they would like put you to 3, like dirtle around for a while,
and
but
then
like
finally put you to 4, and you're like, oh, it's time.
No, they'll try to kill you from 3 most of the time.
Yeah.
Like here's my 2 crit glory, and you're like, do I guard this?
All right, let me go look through your soul damage and drop zone.
Oh, wait, can I see your drop? And it's Legion era, so there's like a million crits in everybody's deck. Because that's what you did. You guarded early and then just sat around with crits. And you just shuffled crits back in, because that's cool.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I felt like the game was like I felt the cards becoming more powerful for sure. Mm-hmm. Like, you can feel the stuff becoming irrelevant from sets before, just as you can feel sets from even, just a couple of sets ago becoming like absolutely irrelevant. Like, Nubatama is probably one of the bottom 5 decks at this point, and it's been what 2 sets.
Yeah,
last support.
Yeah,
more or less.
And they're fallen below Murakumo probably.
Oof. Them,
like
them could be fighting words, depending who you ask.
I don't think it's really arguable.
Yeah. We are now at a point where the meta radically shifts with every new set release.
Yeah, like, and it's not because of ZRs. I think it's more because of like powerful GRs and triple Rs. Like,
Yeah.
The
Like,
problem with new.
Like Ichikushima, for example, Battle Sisters were good for one set, and then the Link Joker booster like started to push them out, and then once Overlord got its boost, they got pushed out completely.
Yeah, Overlord deck is pretty sweet.
Poor sisters, they got like 5 minutes in the set.
I mean, that deck can still win games. Like, Ichikushima is still a strong card. It's just like things are getting pushed out so much.
Yeah, and then even within the Zoo booster, like Gridora was already like kind of pushing things out.
Have you seen the price of Overwhelms?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Japan?
right.
Like $100. It's the GR, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus fucking Christ!
We are now back at the $100 G Zone era.
Hooray! Because Bushiroad fucked. Bushiroad basically reverted back on their thing about GRs not flipping themselves, and now instead of them not flipping themselves, they don't. But you need 4.
Yeah.
They're like, what?
Yeah.
They went full circle, where it was like they were good but not amazing, and then they just made them too good, and then now you need 4. Or, you know. Although I see a lot of decks running just 2 Alexandros, and it seems like they do fine. Is that, like, the thing? Or
That's just Blue Wave decks.
Playing Blue Waves in 2017.
Yeah. Like Blue Waves, you only run 2 because you need the space for your fucking flood hazards. But
What kind
Bavos,
of
I would just use Alexandros every turn.
What kind of madman do you have to be to choose to play Blue Waves into like Chaos and Overlords?
And now Gridora.
Yeah, and Gridora. Like, what happened to absolute madman you have to be to play Blue Waves there?
I don't know, budget or something? I don't know. Like,
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yeah, but like to someone who started, pre G era, the thing where stuff was, or a lot of things were just hilariously expensive is just kind of par for the course, almost.
It feels like decks were more linear back then too.
I feel like back then, like, skills were really important. Like, because like most of the cards you played didn't really have skills. Like, everyone played AK Vanillas, which is something that almost nobody plays now.
Yeah.
10K Vanillas are still like kind of fused, like rarely.
Ish.
But back in the day, like, everyone played 10K Vanillas. Everyone had their fucking 10K Vanillas.
Yeah.
And skills in your cards were really important. Like, you didn't even use all of them just because you couldn't afford it, because the skills were like 2 counterblast.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest change to me in playing Vanguard is how much cheaper skills have gotten.
Mm-hmm.
Like, skills that were counterblast 2 back in the day are now like soul blast 1.
Yeah.
Or sometimes nothing.
Yeah, sometimes they're just like, on play, do a thing.
And you're like, Jesus fucking Christ, what the hell?
Yeah. And then it also feels like decks have gotten more flexible with strides now, because back then you had your 1 grade 3 boss and it did its thing, and that's your deck.
Yep. I do think strides helped kind of create new strategies for the game.
Yeah.
Because, like, it helped decks not feel like you're attempting to do this. Well, I'm going to say this. It pretended to help decks feel like you're not doing the same thing every turn, but in reality you still are, because there's always the best option.
Yeah.
And the best option is almost always the same.
Yeah, but
if you're doing well.
At least there's the illusion of choice where you have the 16 card G zone where you have some strides that offer you utility that you never really use outside of their one niche.
Yep. Pretty much.
Yeah.
They pretend to be useful. That's really what matters.
Yeah.
So is the game broken again, or?
I think it's going to be very unfun for a little bit.
Yeah.
Assuming Dust goes forward.
Yeah, I think set 14 will make the game very unfun with Dust. We still don't know what Stark will do, and it might be ridiculous too.
There are 3 times in this game that I felt like the game was going in a bad direction. And 2 of them were at the end were in Limit Break era, actually. It's because that's when I was playing the most Vanguard, so I think I was, like, really tuned in.
Mm-hmm.
The first was the mechanic of Lock.
Yeah.
I did not like Lock as a mechanic.
I remember when that came out. I was talking to Gabe about this yesterday. And he was like, I remember you messaging me on Facebook telling me what Locke is, and and I was like, I think I'm quitting, like, right now. Like,
Yeah, Locke, we were just like, what the fuck? And there's a lot of jokes about Mega Colony being like, get fucked. Like, somebody had the AK vanilla, the guy that looks like he's smoking a cigarette.
oh, that one.
The Mega Colony AK vanilla.
Yeah.
So that was the first time. The second time was pretty soon after pretty soon after we learned about Locke, and it was Novell.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Because I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, what is this?
Novell was probably the closest the game had to dying completely. Next to Legionnaire.
Yeah. I love one deck formats. And then I didn't really feel like I felt like that kind of sort of in Legionnaire, but not really because I don't know, I wasn't playing as much, so I didn't care. But other than that, Strider, I hadn't really had that feeling. Like things just kind of crept up in power. Like kind of snuck up or like were suddenly good. Or I feel like instead of like creeping up to be good, like there were things that were just like, oh, by the way, Blade Wings, and you're like, oh, all right.
Yeah, and then there have been like times where there were one deck format, like I think Aquaforce when they got Lambros was just insane.
Oh,
That's pretty
Lambros.
gross. But I didn't feel Lambros was like I felt like the card was insane. Like it was obviously the best thing to be doing at the time. But I also didn't feel like it was like bad breaking the game. I just felt like it was like ridiculously strong in comparison to everything else in the card.
Would you say PBD was game breaking, even though they introduced G-Guards not too long after?
I think that deck was really stupid. Yeah, I think that was the point. I think that was the worst period in Errata. But DP was a top deck at that point, so whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, Diablo made people go, like look at resist cards and be like, well, I don't want to run this. I can't kill it off for Diablo.
Funny.
Like,
it's so funny that the existence of Diablo just makes a keyword bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, actual negative.
Like the thing that's supposed to be unanimously good became bad under Diablo.
I think that's a problem on Bushra's end for how they worded
resist.
How they worded choice effects and resist. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of games specify choice versus target, but to get around things like that, or they target the player and the player chooses, but that's not like targeting the thing. Like Magic does this, for instance. Like target player sacrifices a creature is different than destroy target creature, because it gives your opponent the choice, and it gets around things like what the equivalence of resist.
Gotcha.
But they don't have such things in Vanguard. So.
I mean, now they've turned it into like choosing circles and not the thing itself.
Which I'm surprised they went this long to do. Like, I expected this to happen like much sooner than now, just because like I think Locke was a problem they've been having to deal with for a really long time, and that's why they've changed the dynamic of Link Joker and Errata.
Yeah, although I gotta say, like, to the people, there's one of my friends who I won't name here, but he plays Chaos, and he is salty that all these like clans are getting options for unlocking, like, Tachikaze has Gaia Devastate, Pale Moon has the Harry Stride, and Angel Feather has that crit. He's like, it's too easy to unlock. I'm like, they have one thing. One.
Yep.
Yeah, and I don't think it's really stopped Chaos from topping at all.
Exactly. Chaos is running around like a fucking, just like a free horse in a field, and people have like, one thing, and he's pissed about it. Shut up.
Yeah.
God.
It feels like until recently, like the best decks in the format have kind of been people playing outside the box with like the crazy time leap combos and the Blade Wing stuff.
Crazy time leap combos, Blade Wing stuff, 7-runner. All of it has been
7-runner. Like
ZTB.
It seems like a lot of it was people like playing around the edges instead of like directly as a result of the cards.
I think there's only a few directly as results of the cards, and I think it was just in recent sets because they've been printing very strong cards.
Yeah,
like Ichikashima, Ziegenberg, the Purge. These cards are just kind of making decks. Like I think for instance, I think the new Overlord deck is exactly how you'd expect to build it.
Oh, it is. And it's very
Like-
annoying to play against.
Like I'm gonna take 4 Destiny and 5 of some other combination of Overlords. Well, what's the best one that gives me the most value? Well, I'm just gonna pick the X in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know Gabe does just for the legend because, like, where he doesn't care about retiring your stuff, he'll just do it for resources, like fetch flame dragons.
But how is he gonna win the mirror?
What do you do with the mirror? I didn't.
What, you don't want a Legion forever?
I don't know. I thought the point was to win.
I mean, if you can Legion forever, your opponent will deck out, Alex.
In the mirror? If they oh, never mind.
No. If your opponent doesn't have Legion, I mean, then they can't Legion forever. Do you
Wait.
understand?
So you're saying that
If you're playing 4 Legend and your opponent is playing XCN,
yeah.
and then you can't Legion and your opponent can, guess who's going to deck out first? Just give it a guess.
Okay, but you can also kill them before this becomes an issue. Usually.
Maybe. You hope so. You hope you're ahead. What percentage of games are you ahead? Probably like 50, right?
Not in Overlord. That percentage is like 80 in Overlord.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. How I think the power stuff went for early GR was like as a result of the card because of like Lambros and stuff, and then like around the time we got the time leap combo to around set 11, people just started playing to the edges instead, making these weird combo decks.
Yeah, so that
Pretty
was
easy.
that's like a 6 set.
Yeah, you look at Wiseman, you look at No Ciel, trying to think of these other like kind of like offbeat. I shouldn't say offbeat. I should say not what Booster Road wanted us to do decks.
Yeah.
I guess
Time
even
leap combo.
the Abyss decks were like not really what Bushi was looking at
Mm-hmm.
because they wanted people who would Blaster Dark Diablo. Yeah, Time Leap. I think in the West we had the Sinbuster Daikaiser deck that was definitely not what Bushi wanted us to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Like,
the only ones that really like worked as intended were like Night Rose.
Well, not
pretty sure
even.
that's like exactly what Bushi intended with Night Rose, to be honest.
What?
Yeah.
The attacks or
Yeah.
okay.
What else?
Yeah.
What else is Grand Blue gonna do?
Like build a field, multi-attack with it.
Makes
like-
sense.
Like a lot of it was just good interactions with the cards.
Yep.
And like these interactions felt intended.
Now,
Yeah.
what wasn't what they intended was like Wiseman, right? Like
Yeah.
They don't want anything to do with that.
Yeah.
And of course 7 Runner.
7 Runner, Blade Wings, all of it. But like, I think that impending feeling of doom, just even with all of that crazy stuff, like people were mad about 7 Runner because they couldn't do the thing they wanted to do, but it didn't
I mean,
get people quitting the game over it.
yeah, people just refused to play against it mostly, or
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Which is
Or just
stupid.
refused to play it.
or if they did, they just dealt with it when it came up.
Yeah.
But like, you have to have a plan against these decks, and like in Magic, there's like these mono red decks that kind of do the stupid thing. They're like, I'm gonna play creatures and attack you or throw spells at your face until you die.
Yeah.
And you need to have a plan, right? Like you can't just walk in there blind every time. You need to actually think and like have a strategy. So you need to play against enough to know that. And in Vanguard, I feel like people just refuse to do that with kind of the quote cheesy end quote decks or scummy end quote decks.
Yeah.
But you can't
When
you can't push dust out of your memory. Shit's gonna come.
I mean, yeah, you can know dust exists, and you're like, well, I can't not be at 5 damage if I have a Miracle Heal, Like, you just, like, now you're basically looking at, oh, if I'm at 5, now you're like, I have to guard everything at 4,
Yeah.
which is insane.
Matt mentioned this before the recording started, but some guy online said that you can alter your play style to play around dust.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna
Yeah.
alter my play style to never be at 5 damage.
Yeah.
yeah, this has worked for everybody
Yeah.
so far.
I'm
right?
just going to keep myself at 4 or less damage while also keeping a lot of grade 0s and PGs in my hand.
All the time because I
Such a
can.
dumbass.
Yeah. Like, I'm never going to be accidentally crit to 5 or, like, just not find any of my cards I need to heal.
Is he gonna no guard every Vanguard attack at 3? Or full guard every Vanguard attack at 3?
Yeah.
Is that what he's gonna do? Because how do you keep hand that way?
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any Homestar Runner fans out there, but there's a Strong Bad email where Strong Bad imagines what his funeral's like, decide he doesn't like it, and he's like, "Well, in order for my funeral to not suck, I guess I can just never die." Okay, like that's basically what that guy was thinking.
Yeah, he always posts dumbass shit like that. Like something he always has like empty, vague statements like alter play style or play correctly. You know, like things that don't really mean anything.
I mean,
like anytime you're having an argument with someone and they're like, "Well, if you play correctly, then shouldn't be a problem." Well, you should they need to be pressured on what quote play correctly end quote means. And if they say some shit like, "Oh, well, if you don't know, you're just not good," then they don't know either.
They call that the Socratic method, and despite being thousands of years old, it works great usually.
If they like harass you for not quote knowing how to quote play correctly or whatever the quotes go, then that's their fucking problem. They're not worth spending time with.
Well, yeah. So, I guess the takeaway from this whole episode is that Dust is stupid. Busher needs to fix it, or we're going to be in for a bad time for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're going to be bad.
Busher needs to calm the fuck down. I think they're taking end of G era as an excuse to just go wild.
But
yeah, I think as an older player, it's like it's hard for me to even be surprised at these, just because like I've seen Busher this dude's kind of shit in the past.
Me too.
So it's kind of like they're going to do this, and power creep I think is I don't want to say necessary as in a good way, but it's going to happen. Like it is inevitable.
Yeah,
well, yeah.
Like, this game is like fairly linear, so like there's not a lot of horizontal design space. Eventually, they're just going to have to creep further and further up.
Unless they print cards that aren't units.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no! And then we get into spell cards and trap cards, and then I'm out.
And then it becomes buddy fight.
Yeah, it's just come buddy fight.
On an unrelated note, the first 2 seasons of Yu-Gi-Oh are on Netflix, and I totally didn't watch them while I had a fever. Anyway,
that seems like a legit statement. Yeah. But you can just watch BoJack Horseman until you're depressed.
I mean, when you have the flu, you're already depressed. I miss Christmas because of the flu. Like, just Merry Christmas, blah.
Are you even Christian?
No,
I'm not.
Me neither. Yeah, but I mean, like I missed all the festivities. I even failed.
The food.
Yeah, the food exactly. And then I got sick on Festivus, so I even failed the Feats of Strength part. Like I missed all the good holidays. Dang.
Did you at least do the airing of grievances?
I mean,
I never missed that.
Does vomiting count?
Like that is airing some kind of grievance, I'd imagine. At least your body is airing some grievances.
Yeah. Oh man, happy Vanguard Festivus, everybody! Where we air grievances at just Busher.
Festivus for the rest
of us. I'll do the pull out of the crawl space.
Can't wait for the Bermuda set to be garbage.
Man, the last one was so fucking shit. Oh my god.
Yeah, I know, right?
That was in March, right?
And now they're just shoving everything and the kitchen sink into the set and probably making more new archetypes because why the fuck not?
God, I love that expression.
They should just never print another Chocho card for as long as it exists.
Yeah, but Tira is on the poster, so they're getting it.
Oh, fucking bitch.
We're also getting a Bermuda reprint Megiddo.
Does it have a bathing suit?
Oh, please say yes.
I don't know. We're just gonna have to see, but they are printing it with new art for the Bermuda set.
I'm excited. This is what I'm excited for now.
What, Megiddo with a bathing suit?
Whatever the Bermuda Megiddo is. Whatever it is.
Ugh.
I need to know. This
God.
is worth waiting for the set spoils. Because they're gonna show it on a stream. They're gonna show here it is, the Megiddo. Bam.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
If it has a bathing suit, I'll I don't know. I'll vomit.
What if it's just all of the Love Live girls just shoved on a card?
Yeah, exactly. I just realized this is the last Nexus at Night for 2017.
Finally. I mean, what?
Oh, man.
God, I hate this year.
Yeah, this year has been pretty shit, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's move on to the next one.
I mean, not going to be much better.
Let's have the G-Era die and see what horrible thing they inflict on us next.
Link summoning.
A second G zone.
Pelicans. I don't know.
Oh, I got an idea.
What?
Rear guards that you put in your G zone, so you can like stride on your rear guards during your main phase to like have them for a turn on your rear guard circles.
That's actually kind of interesting. Stupid, but interesting.
All right, you overlay them. It's like
God, why? All right.
well, if any of this happens, we'll ask you about it next week on Wait. This is the wrong show.
On Wait, Don't Tell Me. Was that what you're going for?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm pretty much out of things to talk about because I want to go to sleep.
Yeah. And I need to go
sure,
get
because
groceries, so...
All right. Well,
You're fucking sick.
yay, being sick. All right. So, normal spiel. You can find me at Atlas Novak. You can find us at Nexus at Night, both on Twitter.
Find me at Wiggums, 2 G's, 2 Z's on Twitter.
You can find me at Plasma Eclipse.
And
I don't really update my blog anymore, so I don't feel like plugging it this week.
me neither. All right. Well, Happy New Year from Nexus at Night, and we'll see you next time. I was Atlas.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Root Beer.
And have a good night, everybody. I want to take the time to thank anybody who found this podcast. I also recommend sharing it with your friends, family, anybody who likes Vanguard. You can find us on SoundCloud or on your podcast app, that little purple thing that goes in the folder of the stuff you can't delete, like stocks. Who uses stocks? Anyway, you can also tweet me, Atlas Novak, so at ATLASNOVACK. You can also tweet at Nexus at Night, NEXUSATNIGHT, or you can tweet the Nexus Core YouTube channel, so at NEXUSCORPS. Be sure to check out that YouTube channel. We have, card fights and deck profiles and all that good stuff.